What's going on? Fry Daddy here with Fry Daddy's Gear Reviews, and today we're checking out something truly special from a maker who's been making serious waves in the custom fixed blade scene, and that's going to be Jacob Ginsberg of Jacob Creates. Now the knife itself, the Chickadee. This guy here is the Mallard Duck variant in 4V, or CPM 4V should I say. Now don't let the size of this knife and the name fool you. This knife punches way above its weight class. So let's go ahead and start with the man behind the knife here, and that's Jacob Ginsberg. Jacob's been collecting knives since he was 8 and realized at the age of 12 that he wanted to start making them. So he watched a YouTube video and he hasn't looked back since. Now the name Chickadee, where did that come from? So Chickadee is a nod to his grandmother who lives in northeastern Washington. She's an avid bird watcher, and she used to always point out the black-capped chickadee, and that memory has always stuck with Jacob. So hence naming the knife the Chickadee. Now, these knives started out as fully hand-built or handmade knives, which I've had one of the original ones. That was a full flat grind in CTS XHP. Sorry, can't pronounce things this morning. But it has evolved over time, and this is one of the evolutions here. And it's a really good mixture between this precision and craftsmanship line here. These guys are fully CNC'd by Jacob and in partnership with, hopefully I'm not killing this, Hephaestus Machine Works. Now, let's go ahead and talk about an overview about this knife, right? So the Chickadee is a compact fixed blade completely with utility in mind. This guy is sleek, minimal, and designed to work. So let's go ahead and talk about specs here. So we'll kind of get specs out of the way. So first and foremost, we'll do some length measurements here. So this guy has an overall length of right at 5 inches with a blade length right a hair over 2.5 inches here. Now we'll talk about blade stock. And Jacob says these are right at 125 thousandths. Yep, right on the nose. Then we'll go to weight, and we'll do with the knife without the sheath. We'll do with the sheath that it came with, and then we'll do the sheath that I carry daily with this, because I do carry this a lot. I absolutely love this knife. So the knife itself without the sheath is 1.62 ounces, which is ridiculously light. Next, we'll do it with the sheath that it came with here. And that's going to be 2.38, or sorry, let's do it again because it kind of moved on me. Yep, 2.38 ounces. And next, we'll do it with the sheath that I carry it with here, which we'll get into this sheath in a minute. 2.78 ounces. So a little heavier, but definitely worth it when you're carrying this knife. So now, put that out of the way, we'll come back. So the steel, the steel choice here, CPM 4V. This is a tough, high-performance tool steel known for its exceptional edge retention. Now, a really cool touch on this knife, let's say you get this knife and you don't have a COA, because these do come with a COA, or a certificate of authenticity of what blade steel it is. If you take off the scales, on the tang of the blade itself, Jacob did a really cool touch here and etched his logo along with the blade steel on the tang. So kind of helpful there. So let's really dive into CPM 4V. It really is a steel lover's dream, if you will, especially on these hard use fixed blades or even these mini ones right here. It offers better edge retention than 3V while still resisting chipping very, very well. Better than your high hardness stainless steels. And then one thing that's nice is too, Jacob heat treats these blades all in-house. And this CPM 4V is sitting at a perfect 62 to 63 Rockwell, which really is that sweet spot for edge stability and resilience and toughness at the same time. Now let's talk about the blade finish itself. This guy here has Jacob's signature dark acid wash, which gives it this low-key kind of classy look or vibe. And it's really functional because it does a great job at hiding wear and tear. I've been using this thing from everything to cardboard and light food prep, and the finish has been holding up incredibly. There's a few little scuffs, but that's kind of comes with a fixed blade and just using it, using a knife in general. So let's talk ergos here. For a small blade, this thing is outstanding. It features the full tang construction here, and it is a 3-finger knife, but yet it feels locked in due to the way the scales are contoured and the thickness here, which is at the thickest part. Let's check that out here. 1 second here. So at the thickest part, it's going to be right at, 500 thousandths. So right at about half an inch, if you will. So it really helps you lock your hand in, which is nice. And these beautiful Natty Marcarta scales are super comfortable as well to hold on to. And so the knife, if you can see here, it kind of dips in like this, which really helps your hand kind of lock in. And it really, I can't get over how great the ergonomics is on such a tiny knife. Now, let's talk about carry itself, because if a fixed blade is not easy to carry, let's face it, it's not coming with you. It will come with you for a little while, but it's not going to be something you reach for time and time again. This guy, on the other hand, is a knife that I feel comfortable just throwing in the pocket daily. It's an easy knife to carry. I mean, if you look at it here, it's a little bit bigger than this guy folded up, which is just awesome. So originally this knife came with a molded Kydex sheath, like I said, which has great retention here and keeps the knife secure. But I have opted to go with the Redeemed Creations leather pocket slip with the DCC clip, which is really, really nice. Speaking of sheaths here, shout out to Jonathan White of Redeemed Creations. This guy is awesome. And after talking to Jonathan, he kind of went over the sheath itself and where he started out making leather. So the sheath itself uses Horween Dublin leather that has a saddle stitch with a heavy welt for durability. Now, Jonathan started crafting leather goods about 6 years ago, and he wanted to offer something a little slimmer and more EDC friendly than your standard pancake style sheath that most fixed blades come with. And after some trial and error, I think he really nailed this design. And with the addition of the DCC clip, this is just a perfect pocket carry. It's discreet, it's secure, and it's really comfortable. This leather is super soft and it will just break in over time, which is even better. Now, let's talk about performance and how this knife does if you carry this thing daily. So, I carried this guy for the past 2 weeks, and this thing has seriously impressed me. Out of the box, this thing was hair-popping sharp, and I know 4V isn't the easiest steel to sharpen, but Jacob really has dialed this thing in. This thing slices through cardboard with no problem, and this slight drop point here really does well with precision work. Now, this is not my first experience with the Chickadee, like I've said before. I've owned 2 before this. One that is also the same style as it's just in MagnaCut. And the other one I had was the full flat grind one. That was one of the hand-built ones originally in CTS XHP. Now, the hand-built one, me and a bunch of my buddies had this contest, and we were seeing you had to use one knife for a month. And I picked the Chickadee, and I really, despite its size, found it super useful. It's not that I didn't have high hopes, but I didn't really know what to expect with a small knife. I mean, because if you're used to carrying stuff like this guy here, a smaller knife really, you don't really think much of it. But this guy here did incredible. For daily EDC tasks, this thing really hits a sweet spot and is very easy to carry. So let's get into who is this for. If you're looking for a survival knife, this is not it. But it's not trying to be. This really is for your urban EDC, light outdoor use. This thing really does shine in that role. It's literally like a small EDC scalpel that just works time and time again. This thing is compact, it's precise, it's just always ready, easy to carry. So let's go into some size comparisons here. We'll do those really quick. So we'll start with the good old $2 bill here. Next, we'll jump into just put a flashlight up to it, and this is the CWF Mini Arc. Kind of adjust here. So, I mean, then we'll get into another fixed blade, just another mini fixed blade. This is the Turner CNC Jackalope. So, definitely smaller there. We'll do the Spyderco Para 3 here. And lastly, we'll do the McNeese PM Mac 2 3.5 inch here. So as you can see, this is a very small knife. Now let's jump into pricing and then we'll hit final thoughts and we'll wrap this bad boy up. So when you go for these knives, they don't last long. I mean, these are these drops last minutes and it's out. Because he doesn't make very many. They're released, these are small batch, custom fixed blades. And so, I mean, you're not gonna have a bunch. This is not like a bunch of Benchmades sitting around, some Spyderco fixed blades. This is not gonna be that same kind of deal. Now, for price of these, expect to pay, depending on the materials and finishes, roughly around $215 to $225, which for something like this, you're not just buying a knife. You're investing in a piece of craftsmanship. Every line, every grind, every detail is just intentional. And it shows when you handle this knife. So, final thoughts here. If you're after a compact EDC fixed blade that blends performance, craftsmanship, and is purpose-driven, this guy really deserves a spot in your rotation. And if you want something that is super capable and will surprise you, this guy is it. Now, go ahead and drop a comment, like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this review. And let me know, is this something you could see yourself carrying? Do you EDC a fixed blade? Just throw it in the comments. Thank y'all for stopping by, and I hope y'all have a great day.